Thanks. Mike, Rory. Mike.
I'd like to call to order the Proctor City Council meeting for Monday, December 4th, 2023. Could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Perform roll call at this time. Councilor Benson,
Present.
Councilor Reuter,
Present.
Councilor Johnson, Councilor DeWall.
Present.
Mayor Ward is also in attendance, along with Attorney Bray, Administrator Rich, Chief Gaddis, Finance Director Brunfeld, and Megan Jordan, along with others in attendance. And I'm not sure if there's a sign-in sheet or not, but we'll get those names on the meeting minutes. Looking for a motion to suspend the regular city council meeting and call to order the public hearing for truth and taxation.
So moved.
Councilor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second?
Support.
Second by Councilor Benson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. We'll call Leslie to the floor. Are you using this or?
I am not using that.
Okay.
Am I on here? Can you hear me? Okay. We did not get our technology the way we wanted. Our projector does not do justice to these slides. So they are on the television broadcast, and you all have them emailed in your packets. I think Megan has some copies for those who are here, and I will just let you know when I'm switching to the next page. So first, thank you, Mayor and Councilors, for inviting me to present the 2024 Truth and Taxation Public Hearing. The first slide discusses that the Truth and Taxation Public Hearing is required by Minnesota law. So tonight we'll discuss the budget for the City of Proctor for 2024 and the proposed property tax levy. After the brief presentation, there'll be time for public comment and questions. The City Council still needs to certify the final levy either tonight or at another meeting before December 31st. On the next slide, the planned levy increase for 2024 is 5.5% over last year's. This is 0.5% less than what was proposed in September and went out on the property tax statements to residents. The tax collection will be $1.9 million and includes $244,000 of bonded debt service. The levy in 2023 was $1.8 million. We also include $55,000 for the Proctor Economic Development Association. The remaining amount is for the general fund. The impact to a homeowner with a $250,000 property value is an increase of $17 for the year, or $1.42 per month. The next slide, we're showing where your property tax dollars go. It's important to remember that there are multiple components to your property taxes. The City of Proctor's portion of your taxes is around 35%, or 35 cents of every dollar, with 40 cents going to St. Louis County and 25 cents going to the Proctor Public Schools. The county and the school district levy changes will also impact your total tax bill. The other thing that can impact the change in your property taxes is the change in the value of your home. That's determined by the St. Louis County Assessor. If you meet certain criteria, you may qualify for a refund of a portion of your property taxes. On the next slide, we're gonna split up that dollar. After the dollar is split between the county school district and the city's portion of 35 cents is split among our various departments. 14 cents goes to the police department, with an additional 3 cents for fire and first responders to provide public safety in the city for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 12 cents goes to the street department to maintain streets. provide snow plow services, and generally keep the city's assets in good repair. 9 cents goes towards administration and costs to maintain the city hall. 4 cents for other internal services like building and planning, finances, and legal. The remaining penny is for economic development. On the next slide, we show the same information in a different view because we all think a little bit differently, so this might make more sense for you. So for a property value of $250,000, the monthly property tax paid is $124. Compare that to other monthly bills that you pay, like utilities, internet, or phone service. So for just $124, you get the benefits of police, fire and first responder services, street maintenance, snow plowing, parks and trail maintenance, and economic development activities to improve the economic activity in the community. With more economic activity, there is potential to increase the tax base and reduce the property tax burden on residents. The next slide shows our total expenditures for our 2023 budget and our projected 2024 budget. We're looking at $3.1 million in total, similar to 2023 at $2.9 million, with general increases in each category for inflation. The street department has some aging equipment, so higher maintenance costs, and additional costs for a new plow truck in 2024, along with the delivery of the truck they use for sign and sewer projects that was budgeted and ordered in 2023. The next slide shows a graphic representation of that same information over a 5-year period. The yellow, green, and gray bars represent actual expenditures from 2020 through 2022. The blue and orange represent budgeted expenditures for 2023 and 2024. On the next slide, I decided that a picture is worth 1,000 words. We are pretty frugal with our resources here in Proctor, and we are replacing that sign truck that we use for sign and sewer projects. It's a 1989 Ford truck right now, and that will be replaced with a new truck that will cost right around $100,000. And then the other replacement is also a truck from the 1980s, a 1985 dump truck, and that will be replaced with a single axle plow truck. The next slide shows the projected revenues for the city of Proctor in the general fund. Property tax figures in this representation do not include property tax collected for debt service, just for the general fund. The notable increase in revenue are the increases in local government aid, which comes from the state of Minnesota, and increase in interest earnings on the general fund reserves. On the next slide, again, we show a graphical representation of the general fund revenues over a 5-year period. The yellow, green, and gray bars represent actual revenues from 2020 through 2022. Blue and orange represent budgeted revenues for 23 and 24. You can see the increase in LGA for 24. Also of note, public safety dollars, generally fines and tickets, are slowly returning to where they were before the pandemic. On the next slide, we show a historical look at the levy amounts since 2012. The blue represents the property tax levy increases for the city, and the orange reflects the inflation rate. The light blue and light orange lines are linear trends for these two measurements. Even though the levy was not raised consistently from year to year, over the 11-year period, they end up following the same trend as inflation. On the next slide, we show that the general fund reserves. The city strives to maintain an unassigned general fund balance in the range of 35 to 50% of general fund operating expenditures. The city receives the majority of its revenues in July and December. The reserves are necessary to ensure cash flow and to be prepared for unexpected developments. The unassigned general fund balance in the projected 2024 budget is a very healthy 49%. There is a planned reduction, and it's tied to the increase in funding for future public safety vehicle purchases. Again, I thank you all for your time, and will open it up to any questions or comments according to the guidelines set forth by the mayor.
Thank you, Council, and thank you, Leslie. You heard the presentation. Did anyone have questions? Councilor Benson?
Thank you. On the historical levy amounts, when we're looking at the linear tax levy and the linear inflation rate,
Yes.
are we working towards getting it so we don't have those peaks and valleys?
Well, you can see from, 2018 through 2023, there were fewer peaks and valleys. We definitely are trying to just keep a consistent, keep that increase consistent over time and keep it in check with inflation.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Did anyone out there have questions, comments? Nope. Okay, hearing none. Thank you. Nice presentation. We'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing and resume our regular city council meeting.
So moved.
Councilor Johnson made the motion. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Brings us to approval of minutes. We'll take each one of these separately, but we're looking for a motion to approve the city council meeting minutes from November 20th, 2023.
So moved.
Councilor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second? Second. Second by Councilor Wall. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to approve the budget working session minutes from November 20th, 2023. I'll make the motion to approve those minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. And looking for a motion to approve the joint city council and police civil service commission meeting minutes from November 28th, 2023. I'll make, Councilor Benson made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Reuter. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Councilor Johnson made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor DeWall. Any further discussion?
I'd like to add one under 13 economic development.
6,
No, it'd be under 7.
7C, economic development. Okay. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. That'll bring us to the comment suggestion period from the citizens present. The public comment suggestion period of the meeting is when the city council offers a time for everyone in attendance or watching from home to address the city council. Once we move on from public comment suggestion period of the meeting, members of the public will no longer be allowed to address the council unless the mayor acknowledges you. As a general rule, the council will listen to all comments, but will not comment on or respond to any comments made by speakers. The council will not engage in dialogue. However, any city councilor can ask questions. If you'd like to address city council during public comment suggestion period of the meeting, please come forward to the podium or dial 218-628-6289. Before you begin, please state your name and address for the meeting minutes. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the city council will be prohibited from using obscene, profane, or threatening language or boisterous conduct that disrupts the meeting or the security of the public. Is there anyone at this time that is interested in participating in the public comment suggestion period of the meeting? Please come forward or dial 218-628-6289.
Good evening. My name is Natasha Garner. I live at 220 6th Avenue, apartment 4. Just a little background, my daughter and I moved to Proctor from back in March of last year. And excuse me, sorry. I wanted to know from the landlord what the options available for parking for her, and turns out there are not very many here. I can kind of hear the desperation in my landlord's voice, as it is the parking lot for our building, that I live in can only usually hold about 6 vehicles. And there's 6 units in the, building. There's also a dumpster that can't be blocked. And my landlord said we'd have to try to squeeze her vehicle back there with the others and hope for the best, I guess. I noticed that on my block there are many cars that park on the street for now, so I thought this was an option. But she informed me that this was not. Where do all these vehicles go when they cannot park on the street, I wondered. I also noticed in my area that there are many multi-dwelling buildings, and from what I can see, they don't seem to have enough or just enough parking for their tenants, but not any extra. Some lots almost look insufficient for me. So I turned to Facebook to ask the residents of Proctor page for solutions, and the only one I got was yard parking. Yard parking is not an option where I live, for my landlord is about 90 years old and he does all of his own maintenance with the lawn care throughout the summer. Parking on the grass would ruin his property and is not allowed by him, and I don't blame him. I appreciate the nice yard to enjoy the spring and the summertime. Based on the responses I got on my post on Facebook, that there are many people who feel that the winter parking ordinance is too restrictive and creates burdens for some of us. In fact, one woman states that she has to park across the railroad tracks in that parking lot somewhere and walk to her home at 4 a.m. because of the parking ordinance in the winter. Others say that the city, quote, doesn't care. Out of all the many people who responded, only one was really in favor, and he was a plow truck guy. Honestly, between driving between Duluth and where I work and Proctor last year, I didn't really notice a difference in the road conditions or a difference in the plowing between the two places. There are at least 4 to 5 buildings within my 2-block radius of my place that are rentals. And from what I noticed, they seem to have just enough parking for each apartment. But what if more was needed? They would be in the same situation I am in. And what if I have guests for the holiday to stay the night? Where should they park their cars? I feel like this parking policy doesn't include us renters and our landlords. For us, it is burdensome and restrictive, and there's just no other options available for us. If Proctor wants to grow in any capacity and be inclusive to all, I would hope that you consider other options with parking. Being so close in such an urban setting, it would make sense to adopt a parking policy similar to Duluth, or at least have snow emergency lots where cars could be parked while snow removal took place. I know this is partly my fault for not doing my own research before I signed my lease, and perhaps my landlord for not creating enough parking for the tenants. But also the city could be less restrictive about its parking policy throughout the winter. I understand that similar smaller cities such as Carlton, Esco, and Hermantown have similar policies, but those are in more rural areas, and that's where it makes sense. I just have a 15-year-old who's about to be 16 and is scared about where she's going to park her car.
Thank you. Did council have any questions, comments? No? Thank you. We'll take that under advisement. Anyone else? No? Hearing none, we will move on. I think we've given that a minute or so, with the first speaker.
No phone calls.
Okay. We'll move on then. Looking for a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda. I'll make a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. That will bring us to 4A, Clerk Advises Council, Second Street Project Update. Administrator Rich.
Thank you, Mayor. Our Second Street is open, has been for some time. It's unfortunate this time of year. It looks rather stark and barren, but the project is not closed out. So there is a punch list that's going to be happening in the spring. Perhaps the biggest question or controversy right now is the street lighting. The timing of the street lighting was a concern at the beginning of the project because of manufacturing. And we've received notification that we're looking at least 3 months for the poles to be manufactured. It's not a surprise to us, happens with a lot of equipment, but it's unfortunate, but there's really nothing that we can do about it at this point.
And they're all wired, ready to go once they
They'll
come in?
be wired and ready to go, yep.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions, comments on that? Hearing none, we'll move on to 4B, Playground for Everybody update. Proposed amendments approval. Administrator Rich.
Thank you, Mayor. Our DNR grant for the Playground for Everybody expired, was set to expire December 31st of 2024. This was after probably 1 or 2 extensions due to COVID. We have an additional $20,000 to spend of that grant money. That is matching funds. So we did ask for not only a grant extension, but we also had to ask for an amendment to do additional work, which included making some ADA improvements to the parking lot and to the restroom facility. Both of those amendments and the grant extension were given to us. So we're authorized to go out to do the additional work and get quotes for that work in the spring. That's good news.
Thank you. Any questions, comments on that? Hearing none, we'll move on to 6A under new business, 2024 levy approval. As you noticed earlier, we approved budget meeting minutes from November 20th, 2023. Excuse me. At that budget meeting, there was, I believe, a discussion held on 5.5% levy. Is that council's thought still? If so, I'll entertain a motion to approve a 5.5% levy increase.
I'll make that motion.
Councilor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. 6B, Proctor Area Historical Society donation request. Mr. Schwartzbauer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I saw the stuff online, so I'll just come, and I just wanted to give you an update after the meeting we had. Our Historical Society said, let's make an attempt to try to find that remaining $4,000. And so we set aside some stuff for on the day of Give It the Max. And so 8 days leading up to that, in fact, I decided I'd just print out a handout of everything that was posted there, minus the 77 pictures that are there, and hope people will look at it. And just wanted to let you know, 7 donors came in, they gave a total of $500, so we did get something. So the original 4,000 is now 3,500, and I think as a Historical Society we learned a pretty good lesson in this whole process. When it comes to needing a building moved, the community came forward and hundreds of thousands of dollars were brought to make sure this building occurred. When it came time to have to pay off our $36,000 in debts that we still had, loans out, and we started the Club 225 in July of 2019. Of the $36,000 that was needed, then a couple of years, $31,000 came in. Of course, thanks to a very generous decision by the council, we didn't have to raise that last $5,000. We really appreciate you doing that. However, as we look at people stepping forward and says, all right, now that you have it there, now that you don't have those bills, it's harder to get people to give money for just to keep the lights on. Hundreds of thousands for a building move. Tens of thousands for to pay off our debt. $500 and a few others to pay off some stuff. So what you are, as I read through that, the Historic Society is very appreciative of any help you can get to us, but also keep in mind, between our accounts, we do have $12,000 in there. We are not in jeopardy of going under. We're also got a really nice couple of projects coming forward. One with a $1,000 grant that Reed gave us. The superintendent's room will be the decades of the 1960s. Chris Brennan Lyons is doing that one. We also have a couple of historical side members, Anthony Bush, stepped forward along with his brother Nathan, and they're going to be doing some stuff on baseball and softball, and they're going to have a wall associated with that, and do stuff associated with the softball park. And there'll be a few other surprises. So we are moving forward. I just wanted to give you an update, and also thank you for, again, your continued support that you've done there. And of course, to leave this before I go with you to read, if you like to, but I highlighted the last statement in yellow on the last thing that I posted on the Give to the Max thing. And it says, and Council Benson, I've talked to you specifically about this. Find me another town in America that will do that. Will give hundreds of thousands of dollars. We'll put over 100,000 volunteer hours into something like this. And we'll carry this through for 60 years from the time we moved that engine there in '63. I challenge America to find another town like Proctor that will do that, that is that committed. So again, that's where we're coming from. I know we're very biased on that. And Administrator Rich, I sent you something. I hope what I sent you was what you needed today, if you had a chance to look at it, from 1894. I'm hoping that does the trick. So, any questions or anything?
Council have questions, comments? No. I will say council addressed some of your concerns at our budget meeting on the 20th, and we're still discussing those options, so.
And I just want you to know, whatever you do, we're fine. Or if you don't do anything, we appreciate your continued support in whatever endeavors you have.
Yep.
I'm just laying it out the way it is.
Perfect.
All right?
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And here it is. You want to give those out?
Yeah.
And I do hope, if you haven't looked at it, go to the Historical Society.
Thank
That's the narrative. The 77 pictures are really tell the story of what went on. So, all right.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, moving on to 6C, employee resignation. Officer Carter, in your packet was a nicely written letter from Officer Carter announcing his resignation from the Proctor Police Department, effective December 6, 2023. Looking for a motion to approve the resignation letter. I'll make a motion to approve the resignation letter. Is there a second?
Second.
Sent by Counselor Benson. Any further discussion? I would just like to thank Joe for his short time here. He was a wonderful officer and a big asset to our community. So thank you for your time and commitment to the city of Proctor. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Brings us to 6D, Proctor Fire Department employee terminations. In your packet was a letter from Chief Helquist regarding two employees, Mr. Cody Solom and Mr. Brian Wilms, from Proctor Fire Department, have not met their attendance requirements for over a year and have failed to communicate the reasons for their absence. Looking for a motion to accept the termination of the two mentioned employees, firefighters.
So moved.
Counselor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Sent by Counselor DeWall. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Brings us to 6E, commence injunction, 102 6th Street. Attorney Bray.
I have done the summons and complaint, looking for your authority to go ahead and start the action, get it served.
Okay, you heard the motion from Attorney Bray regarding 102 6th Street. Is there a motion? I'll make a motion for discussion if there's a second.
Second.
Second by Counselor Reuter. Any discussion regarding this? Attorney Bray,
Yes.
is this something that you feel we need to file a lawsuit? Or is this more of an enforcement issue?
Both. I think it's necessary because what's going on that property is it's in flux all the time, and there's always a nuisance going on, regardless of the nature of the nuisance. The only way to get him to stop is to stop him from committing all different kinds of nuisances on the property. And there's a track record we've got to establish the relief we're asking for. and it's many, many visits to the property.
And it has been, but as an elected official, I just have heartburn over spending taxpayer dollars
Yeah.
to file a lawsuit on
Well,
something.
it depends on how much of a fight they put up. I don't believe it will be much of a fight.
So second part of my question then would be, if we file an injunction and are successful in that dispute and nothing changes, then what?
Well, he's violated a court order and can be held in contempt of court. What that could mean is a fine, or it could mean imprisonment. Wide variety of remedies available to us for that, mostly fines. But it could be as stiff as imprisonment, even for violation of a civil order from the court.
Right. And I'm not looking, I just want the property cleaned up,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's the ultimate goal here. So, council have any other discussion on that?
So it's least likely that anyone's gonna go to prison for an injunction.
Yeah.
And we're still back to having to enforce what is being put out. And what is the cost of, to put this injunction on? And I'm assuming that we can,
Initially,
what's the cost just to do what you did?
overall, unknown, depending on how much of a fight they put up. But if they don't put up any fight, $1,000 to $1,500.
Without a fight.
Yeah, without a fight.
If they fight it, what are we looking at?
I'm
What to
looking
what?
at about $3,000 to $5,000.
And only if we win can we assess that property.
That's right.
And would that include any and all court costs? Or no?
Yeah.
It would?
Yeah,
So we could recoup that money if we're successful?
from the property, yeah.
Who enforces this injunction?
The sheriff, St. Louis County. One of their favorite activities, I'll pre-warn you,
It is or it is not?
is not.
Yeah.
Have we done this before?
Have we sued to enforce nuisance ordinances? Many times. The most active one I recall was that property in Ugstad Road, I think 402 South Ugstad Road. I can't remember the owner's name, but that took a while to resolve, but resolve it did.
Did we do it on Fourth,
That's what I was thinking of.
4th Street?
Yeah,
I won't say names, but,
yeah, I know.
and I think we may have done one on St. Louis River Road.
Yeah. We're doing one right now.
And I know the 4th Street we're successful.
I have a question for Administrator Rich. Being that you'll most likely be the one to add or apply assessments to these properties, we do that anytime we want during the year, or is it specific times of the year that we can do that?
Probably a better question for you.
Yeah, you have a deadline every year to do it. You can do it multiple times, but it gets added to their taxes once a year when the tax roll is prepared. I think the deadline is, we like to get it done by December to get it assessed.
For the following year?
Yes. That also requires a hearing.
Requires what?
A hearing.
So this may be a dumb question, but if we're successful on a court-ordered injunction, is that something that would be paid to us through the courts, or is it something that we would have to assess?
Well, probably assess, but you could get the relief you wanted in the form of in order for judgment. At that point, we'd have to go collect it like any other judgment, garnishing wages, garnishing bank accounts, etc.
which is gonna also, excuse me, increase cost.
Yeah. And I don't know what the employment situation is at that property.
Attorney Bray, correct me if I'm wrong, but this injunction is against the property owner as well, not the tenant, correct?
Yes.
Any other, yeah, Councilor Benson?
This would not be considered a precedent since we've done this in the past.
It's new. In the past, we're trying to abate a specific nuisance. Here, we're going after a broad array of nuisances and to prevent future ones from being developed at that property. It's different.
Would that, does that have any sort of problems attached to it for the city?
Yeah.
Concerns, problems?
It's new, so it's a new way of looking at the nuisance ordinances, in enforcing them for me. So assuming it will be the same for the court. I'm gonna get a lot of questions. That's why it's important for us to lay out the times we've been at the property and what the specific problems have been. And the chief's left, but the chief gave me a good spreadsheet of issues we've had.
That's what I'm afraid of,
And that was in our blight packet at the last meeting.
yeah.
If it's, I'm assuming it's the same time frame.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that we go before a judge or whatever, try to file it, and, I mean, maybe I'm thinking too much common sense, but if I'm a judge, I'm gonna say, well, how do you want me to help you? What have you done to help yourself? And is that gonna look poorly because this is new? Do we have enough ammunition, documentation, fines out there so that we can kind of say, we've tried this.
Well, I've laid it out in the complaint. And there's a lot of instances that either the police or other city officials have gone out there to correct a nuisance. And then right away, there's something different and new. So we can document that.
Would it make more sense to have you put together your complaint and
You
bring
wanna
that?
look at it, I'll bring it to the
Bring
next
that back
council
to
meeting.
council to
Sure.
look at?
Yep.
And I don't know how much time you need, but could you have that for the meeting on the 20th?
I've got a draft already done, but I will get it in a more final shape and then get it here.
You could have it done by the 20th though,
Oh, yeah,
at our next
definitely.
meeting?
Yep.
Would council be all right doing something like, I'd like to see what the case looks like before we proceed with the lawsuit. Councilor Benson, did you have something?
The timeline, once we look at it and say, okay, this is a goal,
I can serve, I have it served the next day, if we can get a process server out there that fast.
how long will it languish in the judicial system?
It won't languish very long. You're looking at a month and a half to 2 months before we get a hearing. That depends on if he answers or if they answer the complaint.
Yeah, because that brings up another good point. I don't want it lingering longer, you know? Lawsuits could take 6 months and then nothing happens with
Well,
this.
And that's why you'd ask for an injunction right away pending the trial of the case.
So maybe waiting 2 more weeks isn't the best thing to do, but if council wants to look at the complaint before we submit it, then it's the only thing we can do unless we call a special meeting. Phil?
I was wondering if there's not just the issue of abating the nuisance, but damage to city property. You know, he's done road damage there, the sidewalks.
Gone.
Granted, they weren't in excellent shape when they started,
And that's a good question. Could that be
Yeah,
part of our
wait, no,
complaint?
it's not in the complaint now. Yeah. I believe that can be included, but we're gonna have to come up with a credible way of gauging how much the damage caused. I can't do that. I mean, I'm not a contractor. And I imagine the road crew can probably come up pretty good calculation of what the damage is.
Well, I know there's a motion and second on the floor, but what's council's thoughts on this? I guess, how do we want to proceed? Do we want Attorney Bray to commence injunction, or do we want to look at it before we go down that road?
One more question.
Yeah.
When we, and this is for you, Administrator Rich, when we went down the path of the spill, and we had to send resources there, had to call a cleanup specialist, we assessed that already, correct? Have we been paid for that? And we have. Okay. Then the second time, what was that? Would have been a trailer, trees removal. There was hours put together for the crew that went in and took care of that.
Yeah, we have not assessed that yet.
We have not assessed that, but
That
we
would require a hearing.
What's that?
That would require a hearing as well.
But we can, and we have that kept, okay.
I drove by there today before I came here, and he was actually outside working on it. But if we were to have a snowfall, it'd be miserable for our plow guys in the alley and on the avenue there. And actually, more of the cement is gone, so, you know, it's progress, but it's slow. I do want to ask, Chief, is this the way to go?
I'll have to apologize, I was outside dealing with the first issue of this, talk about the injunction. Like I said many times before, what we've been doing isn't working.
So your recommendation would be to do this?
I would see what, I haven't seen what the paperwork looks like and stuff, but I work with him on that, but what we've been doing, yes, it's working.
Yes, sir.
We have to sit there and do something.
Administrator Rich?
I would like to see the complaint as well. There are some developments that are happening in Blight Committee too, that I'd like, if you read the minutes, there's progress made in that committee in changing those policies. I would recommend holding off on taking any action tonight.
And I think that new blight policy will be on our December 20th meeting as well.
And it's not to say that the policy is gonna fix it,
Right.
it's,
I just have heartburn with using tax money, taxpayer dollars to fight a lawsuit. But if that's our only route, that's our only route. But I just like to see it first. I know that's two more weeks of waiting, but before we jump in and spend $5,000, I'd like a little bit more info. Is that council's?
So we just have it emailed to us tomorrow? But we don't have to meet on it, do we?
Well, to take action, we're
I
gonna
think
have
you
to
should.
meet with,
Yeah, we have to have it at council to take action on it.
we can get it emailed to us, but we can't make a decision until our next meeting.
And I would assume we'd have it on our agenda packet before our meeting anyway, so we have Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to review it for.
But it would be nice to have more than 3 or 4 days prior to the meeting.
Yeah, if Attorney Bray can get it out sooner, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Then we can get maybe some questions answered and,
one approach that we have not taken is having a conversation with the actual property owner rather than the tenant. And I'd like to make an attempt to do that. I don't, maybe if she's aware that it's been elevated to this status, she might consider changing something. The
Yeah,
Tennessee.
the change in weather is coming, to Counselor Johnson's point. It's,
Can you take care of that?
We can try.
Okay.
well, I can rescind my original motion unless we want to take it to a vote. What would council like to do? There is a motion in a second. Who seconded that, Megan? Counselor Johnson? Counselor Reuter? Would you be willing to rescind your second?
I would.
I will rescind my motion, and we will put this under unfinished business for the next meeting. Does that work with everybody? All right?
And in the meantime, you'd like to see the complaint?
Yeah, the sooner we can get it, the better, because then we can get some questions answered. But if it doesn't come till the 16th or whatever that date is, the Friday before, then that's what it is. Okay, moving on to 6F, 2024 liquor license approvals and renewals. Before this meeting, liquor control met, and there were 5 liquor license renewals for the following businesses: Powerhouse Bar, Legends Dart Bar, the Proctor Moose, the Proctor VFW, and Blackwoods Bar and Grill. So we're looking for a motion to approve those 2024 liquor license renewals.
So move.
Counselor Johnson made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Counselor Reuter seconds that. Any further discussion? Counselor Benson.
What about the other licenses?
We got one new liquor license to approve after this, which would be for the keyboard. The golf course and the speedway, they don't apply till June timeframe? May timeframe. So those will be coming up prior to the start of their seasons.
So when is the new license going to be handled?
Right after we do this.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Then there was one new liquor license application, and that is for the Keyboard Bar, and their new location will be at 304 3rd Avenue, which was the old Milk House. So we're looking for a motion to approve the new liquor license for the Keyboard.
So moved.
Counselor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Johnson. Any further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Counselor Benson.
So the new license is for lack of a better description, in the old Milk House,
Yeah, for a new location.
for a new location. So come December 31st, is the old location going to cease?
Correct. I don't know if they will be in business, but they will not be allowed to serve alcohol as of 11:59, December 31st, or midnight, I don't know. Midnight the 31st.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clear, so I can understand it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. That will bring us to 7A, closed meeting. Looking for a motion to close the regular city council meeting and go into closed session pursuant to Minnesota State Statute 13D05 subdivision 3 and 13D.03 for contract negotiations, attorney-client privileges, and economic development.
I'll make that motion.
Counselor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Sent by Counselor DeWall. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. right, we'll resume the regular city council meeting. That'll bring us to 6G, looking for a motion to accept the tentative agreement with city administrator with the recommended changes to her contract.
So move.
Counselor Johnson made the motion, Counselor Benson seconded it. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Brings us to 6H, looking for a motion to accept the tentative agreement with Chief Gatus with the recommended changes to his contract.
So moved.
Counselor Reuter made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor DeWall. Any further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. That'll bring us to members' concerns. Counselor Benson.
Just to let the city council know that on December 7th, around 12:30, the VFW is going to have a christening or dedication, not so much the grand opening, but after the honor guard gets through with observing Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, they will be coming up here for that ceremony, and the mayor is on the docket to say a few words.
What time is that, Jake?
Around 12:30, sometime between 12:30 and 1, depending on them getting from one place to another. So I suppose falls on the duty of.
Yeah, I will be, and Counselor Benson and I have spoke already. I'll be in the metro the 6th, 7th, and 8th. So I don't know if Deputy Mayor DeWall would like to fill in and say a few words, or if Counselor Benson or Counselor Reuter, Counselor Johnson, anyone else would like to? December 7th.
Thursday.
When?
Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah, the 6th is Wednesday, so. 12:30 or 1 o'clock, I think, Counselor Benson's.
Yes. Yep.
You can?
I can't.
It's relatively short, and we'll have sloppy joes afterwards.
It'll be short.
No, and unfortunately I can't, but I would love to be there, so. Is that everything? Thank you, Counselor DeWall, and thank you, Counselor Benson. Counselor DeWall? Nothing. Counselor Johnson?
I just want to wish my bride happy 43rd anniversary.
That is awesome. Congratulations to the two of you. More so to Sherry.
Yeah.
Counselor Reuter?
I just had a few things. One, I'd like to just kind of congratulate Leslie on a great presentation for truth and taxation. You know, it's always hard to present all that stuff, and I thought it was easy to understand, and hopefully, you know, people got the right stuff out of it. But I just thought it was excellent. One of the best I've heard, so. Second thing is, on behalf of myself and hopefully the citizens, I'd like to thank the Habermans for the Christmas tree decorating. I think it looks wonderful when you pull into town and see the tree there. I think that's great.
The lift was donated by Proctor Builders too.
Builder supply. And the third thing is, I think that meeting we had the other day with the police department was excellent, and I think that we should, as we move forward in the future here, look at making some changes that they were suggesting. But I think tonight, just to show that we're serious about, or that we heard what they said, I think we should direct the chief to change the policy on tattoos so that they can have those, because I don't see a reason why we have it the way it is.
No, and I agree, and I don't think that would take council action to change a policy, right? You can just do that. So I agree. I think they had a good meeting. I have their info right here, so we don't lose track of it, but I would like to discuss some of those things here in the near future as well, so.
So if we could just direct the chief to
Yeah.
make those changes, I think that'd be very,
Yeah.
that's all I have.
Thank you, Counselor. Agreed. I just got one item to discuss, and I'd like council to think about. I know I brought it up in 2019, and we all love extra meetings, but I would like council's thoughts on maybe a pre-agenda meeting to discuss our agenda like other communities do, whether it's at 5 or 5:30 before the council meeting. It could be a whole different day, but I think it's maybe more convenient to come in early on the council meeting day and have a pre-agenda meeting. But I would like thoughts on that in the future, so that's all I have. Attorney Bright,
Nothing for me.
Chief Gaddis is gone.
Can I speak to that? Mayor, you had asked to have chief added to members' concerns.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea to add a portion of the agenda for staff to advise council, or perhaps maybe someday the fire chief might have something. If we could maybe look at changing agenda item number 4 from clerk advises council to staff advises council. It kind of leaves it open early on in the meeting. Gives you time to think about whatever they've presented to you. That might be a good spot for something like that from staff.
Is that something that council would need to discuss at next meeting, or is
You know
it
what, I
something-
need to review code. There's some very specific things about council agendas and code. Make sure we're not violating code, and then maybe perhaps making the change for the first of the year.
I like that idea. Yep. And I was gonna call on you next, but I'm assuming that's your concerns. Oh, you.
Oh, me?
You.
I get a spot on the agenda already. Thank you, I have no other concerns.
Awesome, thank you. All right, looking for a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $141,443.50. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor DeWall. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to adjourn. Counselor DeWall made a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Reuter. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Thank you.